Happy Devils Sunday. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, Sunday edition at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm your host, Sam Wu, coming to you live from the Primetime Radio studios inside the bunker. Undisclosed location, beautiful New Jersey. From the Mountain View, cross-continent, to the Michael J. Fox Studios in beautiful Beverly Hills, California. It's Scotty, a Sirius XM, Liquid Metal, and the other guy, Beer Baron. As we're streaming live.
This is why I take vacation days. Oh, and crew, and that other guy. Oh,
Nice background.
What's up, boys?
I like your background.
Yeah, technology. It's beautiful. I might put myself on the beach halfway through this podcast. I don't even know. You never know. Yeah, or maybe back at the Rock, circa 2012, with Adam Henrique scoring a goal. You never know. It's a wonderful place we live in.
How's the weather out there, Scotty?
Warm. Very, very warm.
How is it? Hot. Very hot.
Very hot.
What is your average temp out there? Is it like 102?
I don't think it's that much, but did I just do it? Oh yeah, there you go. I did it too.
Yeah. Look, see,
Wow.
technology. Look at this, boys.
I'm a little bit more. It fades a little bit more on me, I think. So maybe I'll go. I'll have to get Sam. You have to send us like actual good ones, and then we'll.
Yeah. I have a few. I could send you the JPEGs, my friend. That's where it's at. You want the clean, crisp edges. But you can tell it's the summertime because you really start off a podcast talking about how we're changing our backgrounds and what kind of files you need. The PNGs is what I was talking about. The PNG.
Yeah,
There's been a lot of news going on lately, so there's plenty of stuff to talk about. That's for darn sure.
There is. There definitely is.
And what's up, everybody, on old Facebook and YouTube and X and Instagram and everything else. File into the YouTube chat, chirp away with everything that's been going on recently with these New Jersey Devils, and there has been a lot. I guess the biggest thing, one of the biggest things is didn't turn out to be Jason Robertson. It didn't turn out to be Matty Nyes. It didn't turn out to be Alex DeBrincat, but Anthony Mantha.
Mm-hmm. The Mantha man
lands himself a 2-year deal with these New Jersey Devils. So want to see what your reactions are to that signing. And everyone, I see Stephen Angle and Pete and Krislad and Dubs and Maria and everyone else, Selecta filing in. What are your some of your instant reactions to this signing for the New Jersey Devils? I think I like it. It's got its risks, as we know. Mm-hmm. This is a team that has always been injury prone, and Mr. Mantha has also had some issues with injuries in the past. He is coming off a career high in goals last year, playing for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So, there's some positive ways you can spin this, and obviously there's some negative ways you can spin this as well. But overall, I feel like it's a good deal. It's not a long-term deal, only 2 years, not a plethora of money, which we see a certain team in Minnesota, going back and forth on whether or not they're going to put another $20 million down on Mr. Quinn Hughes and put themselves right back into the Parise Suter situation they were in about 10 years ago. But that's neither here nor there. I like this. I like the size, even though I know he's not like the most overly physical player. He's got a rocket shot. Career years and goals last year. So I'm not going to say like I'm going to expect 30 goals right off the bat, from him, but he's a big body, something this team desperately needs. If he can stay healthy all year, that is a positive. I'm wondering where he's going to play, if he will be in the top 6 or if he'll be in the middle 6. A little curious of that. because I think he was playing mostly with the second and third line in Pittsburgh last year. So a little curious to see where that, where that all plays out in the end. But overall, I like this deal. He's a little bit older, but he's been around. He's got some great experience to share. And if he does end up on the top line with Jack and Jesper, I think that would be, a good thing. He can also play on the second line or the third, really. Might be an interesting combination with Manta, Rodriguez, and Gritsuk on that third line there. But overall, I liked that. I was kind of caught off guard by it, but I like this signing. How about you?
Yeah, I agree. He was the best available UFA on the market at the time. He scored more goals than anybody on the team last year. 33, and it's a number that's hopefully going to carry over to this year because, like you said, the 2 years at 4.25. The term is not bad. Everything about the contract it's fine. It's fine. It's good. It doesn't scare me. There's no, wow, this is hard to say. There's no trade protection. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
There's no There's no movement clauses. There's no trade clauses. There's none of that. There's none of the old Fitzy like, oh, we got a guy signed, and you're like, oh, cool. You're like, that looks okay, and then you look at the back end of it, and you're like, what does that NMC mean? What is that those little letters after this trade you got here? So there's none of that, which is fantastic. Hopefully you don't need to trade him. Hopefully he works out. I know in an interview he was saying he was excited to come here. He's looking forward to he would like to play up on Jack's line with Jesper and Jack. Was commenting on like how the Devils are just like one of the fastest teams in the league playing them. That was his reaction to having to play the Devils. And I think it's a smart move. It's a big body, but like you said, the health, like, I think that's just where we're at with anybody that, we have in our organization right now. It's like, just stay healthy. If this team is healthy, they're dangerous. You look at the beginning of last year, up until that stupid steak dinner in Chicago, you look at the beginning of last year and they were an absolute wagon. Like, the team was legit and they were playing good hockey. Now, here's the thing. You look back at that, and they were outscoring their goaltending problems. So I know there was a lot of people that were like, we're playing great. Maybe, you're going to see Markstrom go down to Florida, and he's going to do amazing, blah, blah. He was letting up like 3-4 goals a game. We were still winning those games because we were winning like 5-4 or we're winning, 4-3 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then once Jack got hurt, the wheels came off, and we all know what happened. So hopefully, with some of the moves that we've made or some of the moves that, Sonny has made with this team, that if God forbid, and hopefully it doesn't happen, but God forbid something happens to Jack, there's enough depth on this team that they don't fall off the deep end. Because, secondary scoring was a huge issue. And the back end of this team, like the bottom six of this team, was nowhere to be found. And there were guys that you had a lot of hope for, like Paul Cotter, who, by all accounts, like the year before, had a hell of a year, and we thought was going to be like that turning point of like, all right, he's going to be our solid third liner that's going to be able to chip in on the top two lines every once in a while when we need a little grit against a team like St. Louis or against Washington or one of these bigger, heavier teams, and he just kind of have a terrible off year, just like the bottom six, the doomed bottom six of this team. So hopefully, like, I like the move. I think it works. I think it works well. And we'll see if this is it. If this is what Sonny's good with, because there's also PTOs that will be coming out. But if this is where he's going to steadfast, I'm okay with it. I'm still a little shaky on the goaltending because putting all that weight on the shoulders of Mr. Jake the Snake Allen and Nico Dawes and Rittich. It's a lot, but there's, it's not the only team that's doing the three-headed monster. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I really truly believe it's going to be Dawes and Jake the Snake. I think Rittich will be down in AHL, or, if they do carry him, I don't think he'll be dressing most of the time unless one of the other two really, really underperform. but I think that's your goaltending combo right there. And we're going to see. I mean, Nico Dawes has been in the system for a long time, and we're going to see what he's got. This is his opportunity to really make it, and we'll see where he's at. And Jacob Malik or Malik. I'm not actually 100% sure how to pronounce his name, but he'll be in the AHL as well. So there is some sort of backups there. Rittich as well can maybe spot for a little bit, but yeah, I like it. I mean, I think it gives the team so much more depth looking at things now. And yeah, I'm not sure exactly where he's going to end up playing. Of course, he's going to say that, oh, yeah, it'd be great to play with Jack Hughes and Jesper Bratt. Yeah, everybody's going to say that. Of course. Of course. But in the way the team is constructed now, you're a lot more solid all the way down. And now you have a Jesper Boquist there as well. You get Butstad, you get Cody Glass, you get Stefan Nason coming back. You have Connor Brown there, who did remarkably well
with Jack
Hughes and Jesper Bratt. And Connor Brown's a really fast skater who can play with them. Now, Manta also can go to the net, and he's really good at getting shots off in the high danger zone. And he's got a rocket of a shot. He's got an above average shot velocity on him. So when he gets a hold of it, Manta can really, really rip it. But yeah, do you move him down to a second or third line? And he can probably do quite well with a Gritsuk setting him up, and Evan Rodriguez as well. I think the big question is going to be what happens with Dawson Mercer. Because Dawson Mercer, is someone who was kind of getting dangled out there in trade suggestions. He's got a nice, favorable contract. He's an RFA after this year. He's only got $4 million. He's only 24 years old, but he's not consistent producing. However, talk about a team that gets hurt all the time. Dawson Mercer has never missed a game in his entire career. So
he's the Iron Man right now.
Yeah, so it's like, well, do you think about moving him? Do you keep him on the second line with Timo and Nico? Do you start Brown with Jesper and Jack, or do you throw Connor Brown down on that third line with Gritsuk and Evan Rodriguez? It's going to be fun to see how it all plays out, really. But the thing is there's a lot of options for this team with where guys can play. And, we'll see how it all pans out. But, Nason coming back, having Boquist, Bustad, Cody Glass, those guys can all play center. Not Nason, I'm sorry. He's mainly right wing and left wing there. But Bustad, Cody Glass, Jesper Boquist, obviously Evan Rodriguez. Dawson Mercer can play center, even though we know he's not. That's not his. He'd be better off on the wing. But I like the way this team is constructed right now. And with the only $4 million signing there, right? What was Manta at? 4.75. It still leaves the Devils 4.75. It still leaves the Devils with almost $4 million worth of cap space. 3.85.
Which you don't need to spend it. That's the thing too. A lot of people
don't need to spend it.
I think one of the misconceptions of the cap is there's a lot of people that are like, spend every dollar that you have. You do need to leave a little bit of flexibility. I think having $4 million is a good cushion. If there's nothing to be out there, then there's nothing to be out there, and you don't need to spend it. And they could be saving that cap space for Sam Wu.
Yeah, they could be. But I'll throw another thing about the goalie situation. I like this move. I originally wanted Hellebuck. I was always like, rah, 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 let's get Hellebuck, the name, everything. But it's a smart move because you're not spending money right now. You can evaluate your team without getting that star goaltender that's going to clean up a lot of the miscues and a lot of the, flaws that the team may have defensively. You get to see Nico Dawes, is he the real deal or not? And also Jake Allen, who should have been playing the majority of the games last season, he'll get a chance as well to get more playing time. I think it's a smart move because if you need to make a move, you make a trade mid-season with the cap space you have, because then you can see the rest of the lineup. Okay, well, is it the goalie's fault or is our defense porous again? Or are we giving up shorthanded goals or whatever? Because I think last season, the offense in the beginning of the year before everybody got hurt, it covered up the the bad goaltending coming from Jacob Markstrom. It really did. Yeah. And when Markstrom was down early and Jake Allen was in, he was fantastic. And then suddenly you're trying to give Markstrom all this freaking time to find his game. He didn't find it till like after the Olympics.
Well, and even after Olympics, I mean, he found it for a little bit, but I don't know. He still was off. He still had games. I really go back to that Boston game, not last year, but the year before when he got run. And I can't remember who the hell it was that ran him. But when his leg bent backwards and he was out for a while, he's just never been the same since that injury. And that happens. Like hips, legs, but goaltenders. Like if you get a hip injury or a leg injury, like there's so much that you have to do to battle back from that. And I could be dead wrong. It could just be like, listen, maybe he wasn't right for the system. Maybe things weren't working out. Maybe it was the goaltending coach that they just got rid of. Maybe it was, a plethora of other things that were going on.
All the
maybe
above.
He will go to what's that?
It was all the above.
It could be all of the above.
Yeah.
100%. It could be all of the above. But, at the same time, there's a lot of things that going with this 3-goalie approach, you would like to the old days of just having Marty play 75 to 78 games a year is out the window. Like those days are long gone. But I mean, you're still going to get. You just need one of these guys to really take the reins, and it's probably going to be Allen. That's going to be the number one. I don't know. I don't know if they're done. I don't know if they're done making moves. I don't know if this is 100%. Maybe he's just waiting for next year for things to shake out. But if they're playing well, and maybe Winnipeg is not playing well, do you think they go for that trade? If they're playing okay, but they're you know what, we're really a solid goaltender away from being a true contender. Do they make that move? Do they try to make that move? Or do they just stand pat and are just all right, whatever?
Yeah, for me, I wouldn't. I mean, obviously, if to do that, they would have to make other moves then as well to be able to take on that salary and everything like that. And yeah, I don't know. I would love to see another forward come in. For me personally, I would like, I could see Mercer getting moved, maybe a Seamus Casey as well for another different forward. I think that would be the way to go personally. And then you can wait until next year when the cap goes up a little more, depending on what's going to happen with Quinn. You can make a different move then. And also, if you sign Quinn Hughes, you probably have other people then who are now more willing to come to the team and maybe take a little bit of a price hit. But the salaries are getting pretty nutty in the NHL.
Yeah.
And I think teams have to be very careful. Teams have to be very, very careful.
I think they have to be careful for a few reasons.
They're
on the precipice of doing something dumb. Uh-oh, did we lose Scotty? Scotty's paused, so I'm going to just pick up where he left off. Minnesota's on the precipice of possibly doing something a little interesting, or trying to do something interesting. But who knows if they're going to be able to do it at all? Because as our combatant,
sorry about that,
Sam Wu. No, that's all right. As Sam kind of pops in and out on Twitter, he likes to point out the obvious, which is that nothing is happening. up there in the great state of Minnesota. So who knows what that situation is, and who knows what's going on with that? But
I don't think
the contract sizes are going to get. But here's the thing, though, they're going to get larger because the cap is going up, and it's just the nature of what's happening in the sport and sports in general. Like, you're going to look at these contracts that are like Nico's contract is going to look like a blessing, because you're going to start looking at these 15 and up contracts for a lot of guys, and some of them are not going to deserve it. Like, some of these guys are going to become UFAs at the right time, and next year's UFA class is pretty nice right now as it sits. That could all change.
It's definitely going to be rough, and I think teams really have to be careful. I mean, Minnesota in general, just where they're at right now. I mean, Carlson just got what, 18? How much did he get? 18 million. So like,
well, that was because of the whole offer sheet too, because by all accounts they were saying
Quinn
that
Hughes.
he was.
I'm the next best defenseman next to Cal McCarr, in the NHL. So what's to say
I'm
that
not
I
disagreeing.
And if I was Quinn Hughes, that's exactly what I'd be saying to Minnesota. I'd be like 18,
I would not 18.
I would say 20. I would say 20.
Yeah, but
I would
here's
say
the thing
100%,
too.
20 million.
But here's the thing about that, like that whole situation when you had
Kaprizov
sign his
15.
17.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, that just came down.
Mixed up. Yeah.
So, but that's a great example. So Bedard. So you look at Jack's contract where he's still making what, 9 or 8 or whatever it is, or you look at his contract and you're like, oh my God, like we have that for the next couple of years. Like when he's up, it's going to be insane, especially if he can start staying healthy. If he can start playing a full 82 and really contributing, like that's going to be the big one. So like you look at what Nico signed for, what the average is going to be. Like the average used to be like, all right, $6 to $7 million was like a pretty decent player. 8 to 10 is like your top tier guys. 10 was like out of control. If you remember when Marner signed that $12 million contract, people were like, damn, like $12 million bucks for Mitch Marner. Like, whoa, that's going to look like an absolute steal. Like Vegas is going to look back and be like, oh, whoa, yeah, $12 million. There's nothing more we can do for you there, Mitchie. Like you're done. You're done on the books for the next like 7 years, so you're good. So all these like middle of the road contracts are going to start to end up looking like 12 million, 13 million, 14 million. And it's going to be like, dude, what the hell? But yeah, Quinn Hughes, that's going to be him. McCarr hasn't signed yet. So these are all going to be.
Well, that'll be next year. Yeah. And
monsters.
I guarantee he'll be 20 plus as well. And the teams are going to have to be careful because for right now, where the salary cap is, like you look at Minnesota, you're like, all right, well, the salary cap's going to go up, another like 10, 11 million next year. Yeah, but they literally have no space whatsoever right now. And yeah, they have some expiring contracts, but if you sign Quinn Hughes for $20 million, like that's a good portion of all the room that you would have from if not all of it, but I mean, close to all of it, from the expiring contracts, and the salary cap, increase.
Yeah.
So if you have a Kaprizov already at 17 million, you have to be super careful about, because if they do try to, if they throw 20, $21 million at Quinn Hughes and he signs there, it's likely going to turn into another Parisi Suter situation. Where,
all right, well, let me ask you a question.
We had these two guys, but we can't field, and it's all just like, bargain shopping for the rest because we can't. Because baseball, this is turning into baseball where you can be a pitcher with like a 4-run ERA and get $10 million a year. Like when we were kids, like, when we were younger, obviously the money value was different and everything like that. When we were younger, like you didn't know pitcher like with a
$1 million contract.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Yeah. And he was still working at a car dealership during the summer, during the winter time. Like that's, you're like, there's yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah, but that's where it's going to be like trending, where all these and then you're going to have teams that are just, there's a cap here. In baseball, there's no cap, so it's fine. But
dude, I mean,
here there's going to be a strict cap. Either that, or you're going to have teams are going to look like soccer jerseys with just all, advertisements on them, and there's just
If
going to
you've
be a little logo crest right here. That's it. The rest is just going to be all advertisements, because they're going to have to make money, pull in money somehow.
Have you ever seen the movie Basketball?
Yeah.
The beginning of that movie is like eerily accurate to like what sports is like started to become. Welcome to Tampax Stadium. But the whole thing about like what's going on in Minnesota and like Quinn Hughes and like all that kind of stuff. So I have a question for you, and if Sam wants to jump in on this one too, I'd be curious to hear what his opinion is. Do you believe, and everybody out there too on YouTube and all the other Facebook and all that kind of jazz, do you believe Quinn Hughes would take a lesser of a deal to come here? I'm not saying like lesser in the 15 to 14 to 13 or anything like that, but do you think he would take like 18 or 17 and leave some money on the table knowing that his brother is going to be up at some point, that if the goal is really to come here and win, and the goal is really to come here and play with your brother or brothers rather, that you would take a little bit less just to do that? And if you think like that's a crazy thing to say, look at Scott Niedermayer, because that's exactly what Scott Niedermayer did when he went to Anaheim.
Two thoughts on that. One, yes, I believe he would, for a minor discount. Yeah, we're not talking like he's going to just take like $10 million or something like that.
No.
Minor discount, I think he would, because of Luke and Jack already being here, the family being situated on the East Coast. However, in speaking about these contracts and a lot of stuff with baseball, and you can look at this with football as well, a lot of these superstars, it's basically the Players Association is going to say, you have to try and take the most money possible to set this new standard of like, all right, well, here it is now. It's like every year in the NFL, you hear, oh, well, this quarterback's getting 40 million. Well, now this guy's getting 42 million. Now this guy's getting 45 million a year. Now this one's getting 50 million a year. They're always trying to set this new like par of this is what the base is. And that's why a lot of those salaries and that's why you see in the NFL, a lot of times just quarterbacks making money, and then your linemen are making like, peanuts. So I think Quinn would take like a 17 or, 18, maybe a 16. I doubt it. But, I think he would take something over there if he was to come to Jersey, because Luke and Jack are there. But if he doesn't, McCarr is definitely getting 20. So I would assume that he would want to be in that exact same range. Now, if that's the Player Association coming in there and saying, sorry, you can't do that. We need, because you're a superstar.
Which is wild.
And you need.
Yeah.
But that's
crazy.
how sometimes those things go. But I do believe that, like you were saying, like a la Niedermayer or something like that, maybe he would take like $1 million or $2 million less with the family all situated out here. Jack and Luke signed. Yeah. Because then you can also sign Jack when his contract is up for a similar amount of money and keep them all together and happy. Kind of like, Brunson on the Knicks, taking a little bit of less than he maybe should have, so they can go out and buy. But he didn't take that much less, but definitely took less.
Take enough less.
Take enough less.
100%. Yes. Yeah. What do you think, Sam? If you were unmuted, we could probably hear you.
Brunson left almost 100
million. The tech shade on Sam Wu there. Damn.
It's all right.
That's what he gets for calling me other guy.
Yeah, well.
Tom says he'd take 15 to 16. Okay.
I was about to say that Brunson left almost 100 million on the table, by the way.
He did. Yeah, actually. He left a lot.
He didn't go for the Supermax contract. That's the NBA. This is what's happening here. If Quinn signs with Minnesota, it's strictly transactional, because Minnesota, despite the trolls on X from the Minnesota Wild fans, I've been calling Minnesota mild. Minnesota does not have Jack or Luke for at least 4 years. And they would have to acquire him through trades. It's not happening. Jack is not asking to be traded to Minnesota because it leaves Luke behind. It's not going to happen. Quinn coming to New Jersey on a discount, I think here's the key thing here. Watch in September because the expiration of that 8-year deal is about to close with the collective bargaining agreement. It's going to go down to 7. So could there be a sign and trade to trade Quinn Hughes to New Jersey? I don't know, depending on who's going back. But, obviously salary has to go back the other way. I'm sure Bill Guerin's going to ask for all those assets that Sonny acquired with the Nemec trade.
All 4? You think he would give up all 4 of those first-round picks?
No, I didn't say that. I'm just saying he's going to have to give up something.
Some of it, yeah.
But if Quinn's motive is to take the 8-year deal and then, because it's 8 years guaranteed, so it'd be 9 years in New Jersey because he's still on his last year of his contract. Would Quinn want to do that? In my opinion, Sonny has all the leverage here. He doesn't have to give up anything. I think Sonny would get Quinn the next offseason, but honestly, if Quinn's coming in $17 million, that's going to be a bargain 5 years from now. Because just remember, Dougie Hamilton's going to be off the books in a couple of years. You're going to get
after
that
next year. It's only 2 more years.
2 more, yeah.
2 more years.
In a couple of years. So that salary cap situation, but you have Quinn Hughes in his prime. I think $17 million is going to be a bargain, especially if the guy, Cale Makar is getting 20.
He's definitely going to get 20.
Yeah.
And another point too is that, next year the Devils do have a number of expiring contracts. The cap is going to go up to, they say, like, I think it's 112 or something like that, or 113. So, and the Devils lose Brendan Dillon, comes off the books as well. That'll be some extra money. There's a bunch of guys, Nason, who's not a high contract, but they have enough where it's coming off the books.
They'll have
where they'll be able to do that because the only biggest person they have is now Nico Hischier. At 11.5 instead of the Kaprizov there, who's got 17. But if you look at Minnesota's contracts, there are, especially their defense, they've got some really large contracts on there, and they got to figure out what they're going to do with their captain because he's making almost $8 million and his contract is up as well. So if you sign Quinn Hughes for 18 mil there, and you got, what is that, like $35 million, wrapped up in 2 people, I just think you're gonna, for Minnesota, I think they're gonna move into that territory where they were with Parise and what's his name, like 10 years
Suter.
ago when they signed
Suter.
Yeah. I was saying Sutter before. Suter, and I don't know if that's a smart move for them. Maybe that's the way, Sam, like Sam was saying, Quinn does something nice and throws Bill a bone, and it's like a sign and trade thing to be able to get something for Minnesota.
Some kind of asset back, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Seamus Casey is not Quinn Hughes, but they're going to need affordable people to fit into that roster. And that's a thing with the Devils as well. Once you lose Dougie, hopefully, Siliev is coming over. You have some of these other kids that we're hoping develop. Now with this new regime, hopefully the development process goes a little bit better, and you could have some of these guys coming up who can maybe play a significant role and not cost as much on the books. So personally, I think it would be a borderline disaster for Minnesota. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Devils fan and I want, Quinn on the Devils. I just think with the money situation right now, the way they are situated, it just the money situation, the way they're situated. Yeah, good one there, Scott. IR, a radio professional. I just think it's going to cause a lot of problems for them. And I just don't know if they'd be able to really field a competitive team right now. If it was like, 2 years from now, maybe 3 years from now, and the cap's up even further, then okay.
Mm-hmm.
But 2 or 3 years from now, then you're going to have guys going for like 25 million and, even more. So I think that's the dangerous thing with this, where this league is going, because the NHL doesn't make money the way the NFL does, or the way baseball does, or the way basketball does.
Nobody does. Although, and I think they're smart for taking advantage of the boom that they got from the Olympics, and hopefully in 4 years they can ride that wave again. Although I don't know what it's going to look like, because it feels like once you achieve what the U.S. achieved this year, like by winning the gold, it's like, okay, well then now that impossible dream has happened, like what's the next thing going to look like? Well, Russia's going to be back in, so that's going to be
right.
That's going to add another layer to the Olympics for sure. And I wonder, I was looking at it, I'm like, I wonder what team's going to be out. It's probably going to be like Italy or like France or like one of these other teams.
Probably one of those other teams. But I mean, we'll see when that happens. Obviously, there'll be some new guys on the team and stuff like that. You'll probably find out whenever they do the next nations face off. Maybe it'll be 5 nations or 6 nations, whatever the hell it's going to be. But I mean, that's how it goes with those national teams. That the guys cycle in and out there. With age and stuff. So we'll see when that all happens. But
you bring up such an interesting point about what is the NHL going to do with with contracts going up and up and up and up and up and up. I mean, as for the players, it's good for them, because this is one of those leagues for the longest time. Like, you look at the NBA and you're like, how is this dude making $55 million a year? Obviously, there's smaller bench sizes, and there's reasons why they can afford to do those things in the NBA. But you look at somebody and you're like, this guy plays he doesn't even play half the games. He gets his special treatment, all this other kind of stuff. You look at the NHL and you're like, these guys go to war every night. They never miss a game unless they're actually seriously hurt, and they're getting paid like the top players in the league. Well, now it's going to be different, but at points it was like Sidney Crosby was making $8.7 million a year, and you're like, wow, that's taking up 15% of their cap, which is a big number.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of the mismanagement though of the league. Going through
1000%.
multiple lockouts. The whole ESPN to Outdoor Life Network debacle, and a bunch of other things like that.
Versus network.
I mean, they really did a number on the momentum of the league there.
And there's a lot of things that they need. I agree, and there's a lot of things that they can do that they've been doing. Like the outdoor game is an amazing event. Having been to 2 of them now, it's an incredible experience. But at the same time, it's starting to get a little bit stale, and as a fan of not the original 6 team, we're not fans of any of the original 6 teams. It starts to get to it's the same old thing. It's the same. It's the Penguins. It's the Rangers. It's the Chicago Blackhawks. And it's like, okay, cool, but change it up. Put more incentive in it. Change some of the things that are going on. You look at the PWHL and some of the things that they have going on, and some of the rules that they have. And it's cool what they're doing with the league. It makes it way more interesting. If you look at what happens if you miss the playoffs, or if you look at the playoff structure and all this other, all these things, there's so many interesting rules that they have. One of the, I think it's if you're on the penalty kill, if you score a shorthanded goal, it ends the power play for the other team, which I think is I think that's an awesome idea. I think that's an awesome idea. It's just changing certain things about the game. I'm telling you, if you look at what they're doing over there, there's a lot of really cool rule changes and things like that they have going on. I forget the right off the top of my head.
That's a good idea. I like that.
The lottery system that they have. I forget if it's the team that has the most points from a certain point wins like the number 1 pick or something like that. I forget how it works, but
Mm-hmm.
there's also like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of really cool things. Fixing the playoffs. Like that's funny. Somebody just wrote that Tom wrote it. Hey, Tom. Yeah, fix the playoff seeding, like the 1 through 8. Go back to the 1 through 8.
Yeah.
Like, I understand. Look, first round has been insane for the last couple of years because, yes, you have these interdivisional rivalries, like Devils Rangers first round. And it's awesome because you're like, wow, you're getting a lot of juice in this first round. But then the second round and even the conference finals, sometimes it just feels like there's a lot taken out of it because, like, that first round's so good. And then it's just like, oh, but now the number 2 and 3 team are already out. Now you're playing like, lesser of a matchup or teams that are not really like rivals to begin with. Like, so you're not really getting that juice following all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
There's just certain things that the NHL can do, like the marketing of the game. Like, I don't know. There's a lot that could be done. And listen, man, who knows how much longer Gary Bettman's going to be the head of the NHL as a commissioner. And when the new commissioner comes in eventually, like, who knows what that's going to look like? If it's Bill Daly, if he's going to, fill those shoes, or if it's going to be somebody else.
Like, I heard it was Sam Wu.
Oh yeah, definitely going to be Sam Wu.
I heard Sam
I
Wu.
bet you all the fans in Minnesota would love that. And the Canes, Tom's saying the Canes had a cakewalk. Yeah, sort of. Yeah, like. I mean, Philadelphia
they used to all the time too back in the day because they would win that. What division was that they were in? They would be the only team when they had the 3 division. Was it the Southeast division?
Like
whatever the hell it was.
Division.
They would be the only team coming out of it with like a 500 record and be like the 3rd seed.
Well, that's because that's when the Panthers still sucked and like a lot of those teams were not good. But yeah, in order for contracts that can continue to go in this trajectory and to be able to like afford like a $20 million a year contract or anything, they're going to have to find innovative ways to keep the game fresh and new and like bring in new advertisers and bring in all these new fans and all these other things. And if you can't, like, when does it stop? And that goes for every sport. Like, I think that's my biggest question about all this. Like, at what point do we sit down and go, does this quarterback need to make $185 million for 3 years? I'm just making up those numbers, but like, it's the truth. Like, at what point does it get to be like, all right, guys, like, I think that's it. I don't think we can go any higher. I mean, the NFL prints money, so like, good on those guys for making as much as they can, because they should. Because
it's only certain players. Really,
it is only certain players, and there's always been like talk about like the quarterback should have their own like cap, not to get into a different sport. And the quarterback shouldn't be counted against the team's like overall cap number, but I don't know, man. Like it's gonna be the next couple of years, and you hope that it continues to grow, and you hope that the game is continuing to go in this way and get more and more popular and stuff like that. But they're gonna have to change a few things if they want that to happen. The All-Star game, somebody brought up the All-Star game, like the All-Star game, like. That's another thing too. Like, no more of this like foo stuff. Like the 4 Nations was insane, but then again, you can't do that every year. Like, you're gonna destroy guys. Like, you're gonna have the U.S. and Canadian players be like out of the league in their early 30s because they've been going to war like every single year. Like, it has to be. It's
or 2 games,
handful of games.
Well, I mean, you can also keep it as you can do it a limited, amount. You could also do it if you want, like, all right, we're going to have, 4 nations, but, 22 and under, or 23 and under, or 25 and under, or something like that, So it's all, kind of like showcasing some more of the younger talent or whatnot. There's different ways that you can get around that. Yeah, but like you said, they got to get creative with it and do a good job with it, and not just be lazy.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because the All-Star game, but the skills competition is still fun. I mean, they can spruce that up a little bit as well, but they can do that and then have like the 4 nations face off or something like that, or 6 nations face off, whatever the hell you want to do there for a week. Yeah, I mean, unless you're going to go back and actually play an All-Star game, like play it and not just this 3-on-3 for 10 minutes here and then 10 minutes there and then whoever and then whatever. Like, Just make it a friggin' all-star game.
I have a wild idea. This is absolutely impossible, and there's so many things about this that would be dumb, but in theory, it would be hilarious. In the All-Star game, you could have like the NHL, the PWHL, the AHL, even like the K. It would be cool if you could get the KHL, but like all these like major leagues put together like an all-star team, and like kind of like play each other, and then you could have like the super beer league team of like the best beer league player, the best beer league players in the country, and like it's like Mystery Alaska. It's like that movie Mystery Alaska. You get these guys, and you get these like just these absolute tanks of human beings. These like dudes that are like in their mid-30s and 40s that are just like hammering beers after every game and going out there and like playing against Connor McDavid. Like, dude, that would be so fun to watch. You're telling me you wouldn't sit down and like watch like a 5-on-3, like 5 beer leaguers against like 3 NHLs? Doesn't even have to be all-stars. It could just be like 3 NHL fourth liners, and they'd smoke anybody. But
they would smoke. I would just be like, bet if Connor McDavid gets 10 goals in the All-Star game or not. What's the over-under?
Yeah, what's the over-under? How many of the beer leaguers are gonna like pass out in the middle of the ice, or like what guy is gonna throw up?
Just like face first down on the ice, just
I can't do this. They're like, and the beer leaguers, they're now down another player. But yeah, dude,
there's ways they can do that too. I mean, I think there's ways they can make I would love to see more outdoor games like on a single day as well. Like, I don't know if you have to spread it out onto all these different days. I know you want to watch every single game, but it's cool when you have like, you can turn on the TV and you have like games going all day long. That's the fun part. That's why, like college football Saturday and NFL Sunday are so much fun, because there's just games on all day, all time, so
yeah.
I would love for them to do that instead of just, New Year's Day we have the one, like, well, why don't you line up like 5 or 6 of them and have them all on that one day, and you have 2 starting here, 2 starting here, 2 starting here, and like they're a little bit staggered throughout the day, but I mean, it should turn into like a fun, just all day event of outdoor games and those cool backgrounds, and then you can have some, on the East Coast or up in Canada, where you're going to get like the snowy backgrounds and all that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
You can have one in Florida or out here in SoCal, at Dodger Stadium or something like that. I think it would be a really cool thing to do. I don't know, maybe they have some other reasons behind why they wouldn't want to do it. But
the logistics are probably a nightmare for certain areas for sure. But it'd be cool, like, even if like to incentivize like having teams so they don't tank at the end of the year. Like, I always say the way to fix that, and like what they could possibly do is like that idea of like, okay, from I don't know, let's say you have to put a number at the last like 10 games or 15 games of the season. It's like,
I think we have a lot of beer league players in our YouTube chat that are very down with your idea there.
Hell yeah, we're gonna make our own team.
Starting defense, yeah, Billy D.
Yeah, we're gonna make our own defense. Team. We'll make our own. We'll make our own team. But like the bottom, like the last 15 games of the year, you like go into it and be like, all right, well, whoever wins the last 15 games, like teams that are clearly out of the playoffs, that are always gonna be like that lottery team anyways. Instead of like them giving up and like kind of just mailing it in, like, all right, hey, last 15 games, whoever ends up with the most points at the end of this 15 game streak gets the number 1 pick, and then you just go down from there. So like if you're the worst team in the league, but you play your nuts off those last 15 games, like, yeah, you deserve to have that number 1 overall pick. It just make it so teams can't just disappear. Like, it's not as bad in the NHL. Like, there are teams that kind of like, trade deadline, they know they're not going anywhere, and they just start shipping everybody out. I mean, look at the Flames. Look at the Flames like starting lineup. So like, just putting that incentive of like everybody still has a chance for some kind of something. You know what I mean? And especially as fans, like when you go to games at the end of the year and your team's out of it, it sucks. You're sitting there and you're like, oh, I hope we don't get blown out by the by the freaking Sabres right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like our team isn't showing up, and like this guy's not playing because he doesn't want to play. Like it sucks. It sucks. Like when there's nothing there to play for, like make it so there's like that fan interest. Like, oh damn, like if we win tonight, we can end up with the number 1 pick. Like that would be sick.
Yeah, and Jason, I know is this McCloskey? This is something I know we've mentioned in the past as well. Like, yeah, as soon as football season ends,
Primetime games.
That Sunday night slot, you're just like, what? Dad, what? There's supposed to be something on now. What's going on? Why is there no game on Sunday night? What's happening here? Like, yes, the NHL should totally take advantage of that, because that's what they always say is that downtime there after football and, before baseball starts. And you're kind of in that, like, mid-season, just before the playoff rush of basketball and hockey are taking place. It would be it would go so far if they had a Sunday night, ESPN national game like that. Because once football ends, people are starved on that Sunday night because football takes up everybody's attention. We all know that. Mm-hmm. But you get so used to those Sunday night, there's a game, even if it's the crappiest game ever. So many people play fantasy football that you're still watching anyway, because you probably have some receiver or running back or something like that, or the defense is your defense. So you're still watching anyway. And then when that hole comes, you're like, what's happening here? It's like All-Star break with baseball, because you get used to watching baseball like every day. And then when the All-Star break happens, you're like, what the hell? Where's the game?
What's going on?
What's going on?
Yeah.
What is this? So, yeah, Jason, I think you hit the nail on the head. And I know we've mentioned that before, but that's a good reminder. I think that would be a really amazing way to showcase the league, because it's going to fill that void, and people, football's not. What do you want? Oh, there's a hockey. Okay, maybe you do pick up some of the casuals.
And the schedule makers could look at that window and be like, all right, let's get Colorado, games. Detroit.
Yep.
Let's get Devils, Rangers. Let's get like all these big time rivalries that are going on. Like, let's get the rematch of Stanley Cup Finals in there. Like all those big games.
Yep.
And like all those primetime games could be like scheduled there. Which, by the way, looking at the Devils schedule, October 1st, which, the season opener, feels like it's a million miles away, but it's going to pop up before you know it. So October 1st, I know I'll be there. The fact that the Devils play the Rangers 4 times, great. The fact that they play them 4 times before Christmas, not so great.
No, it's not so great.
That's so... I don't know if they put it into a computer and the algorithm spits out like a random thing and they're like, yeah, this works. This is where everybody needs to be. I know there's so much
so late in the season, but both teams stunk, and then now this is going to be so quick. So it's just like they screwed up yet again. What can I say? What can we say? Like, we just look at it and you're like, these are the rivalries they should be prioritizing to kind of spread out a little bit more like that, and to make sure that you don't have situations where, all the games are happening in the first half of the season, or all the games are happening in the last 2 weeks of the season. Like, you need to spread it out, especially with the big rivalries like Devils, Rangers, So great job, schedule makers, once again. But either way, looks like we are coming up to the end of the old broadcast here, and we should move into our final thoughts section of today. And I don't know if I have one off the top of my head here, but I'm gonna say my final thought. I'm going to say my final thought is I don't think Sonny is wrapped up just yet. I think he's got, as a poker player, I don't know if he's got an ace, but he might have like, a picture card, maybe a king or a queen up his sleeve. I don't know if he's got that ace just yet, but I think he's got one more move in there. And I don't think it'll be goaltending. I think it will be. I think there's going to be another move for those on that forward side. We'll see what happens, but I just have this feeling that there's going to be something else done.
Or a big splash with a certain brother.
I don't know. No, not that. Not yet. I don't know. I feel like he's going to make another move. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like he wants to just kind of. He's been rearranging this team into his image of what he wants to see, and I feel like there can be just one more, maybe improvement made out there. We'll see what Sonny comes up with, but that's my final thought. Is don't think he's done just yet.
Okay. My final thought is good to see, because I wasn't here last week, good to see the shake up on the coaching side of it. There's a lot of really good hires, but we want to give a huge congratulations to Mr. Sergei Sarge Breland, who is now the new head coach of, I always mess up the second part of this, Dynamo, or oh my God, the second part, it messed up the whole thing.
Minsk.
Minsk. Is that how you say it? Minsk?
I don't know.
Yes. We'll just
yes.
go with that. So Dynamo Minsk. So he is now going to be the head coach of Dynamo Minsk in the KHL. Listen, it's a huge honor, especially being a Russian-born player, having worked his way up through the ranks, working in the NHL or working in the AHL, then in the NHL, and then sticking around and doing everything that he was asked of. We wish nothing but the best for Sergei. Always going to be one of a fan favorite. Always welcome back with open arms anytime he comes back to the States and comes over here and says hello. But yeah, that's a huge, huge deal for him and a huge honor for him as well. And we're all very happy and proud of him. So congratulations to Sergei.
Very nice.
My final thought. Sonny is just sitting back and letting the situation come to him versus trying to force something to happen. And I think Sonny is in a great position right now for the New Jersey Devils. I think he has options now. And he literally undid most of the issues that Tom Fitzgerald, what he inherited from Tom Fitzgerald. It started with the Nemitz trade, then the Jacob Markstrom. Now he's got some cap flexibility. He's got draft picks. He got his guy from Florida to fix Utica. And Sonny doesn't have to make that move for Quinn Hughes. He could wait a year. He can literally wait a year. So I think financially, cap-wise, the Devils are looking much better than they did last season, despite all the no-movement clauses. But also with the cap going up the following season and the Devils having that kind of cap space with those assets and with Jack Hughes on a 4-year, the next 4 years on a very, very friendly cap number, take advantage of it now. And I think the Devils are right now are in a great position to do something great. But again, Sonny's going to let that situation come to him versus him trying to force something to happen. So that's my final thought. Also, this upcoming week, we got State of the Fan Address with Nick Villano at pucksandpitchforks.com this Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And also Friday, I'm going to attempt the Atlantic Ocean podcast. I'll be out in the sea, deep sea fishing, 40 miles off of, is it called Kill Devil Hills, I think? Or is it Devil Kill Hills? I forgot what it's called. North Carolina. So I'll be out there deep sea fishing. And hopefully news breaks that Quinn doesn't want to sign with Minnesota. It would be great, the timing of it. And also, the poll's still out there if I should buy a Quinn Hughes Minnesota Wild jersey to force a trade. And so far, it's 78% says yes. And the other, I don't know, 22% says no, save your money. You can follow me on X at PrimetimeSamWoo. So that's all I got as I'm trying to look for that bumper. I can't find the bumper right now. There we go. Found it. We're totally in off-season form. Thank you to all those tuning in, dropping the podcast in about around midnight. Set your alerts. We'll be back soon. Till next time, let's go Devils.